He's shown us some of that mechanical genius on the pitch. Here we go then. For the final spot in our final, the second leg of this semi-final is back underway. It's essentially 0-0 here, 1-1 on aggregate. So nothing to split the two players. It's the German against the Englishman. And to be honest with you, I have absolutely no idea who's going to take this one.
It's hard to go against a man who has performed so incredible throughout this season in F2Tekkz, but at the same time, what NRaseck has offered at this tournament has shown he has the potential to win tournaments as well. And I'm sure that he will not be fearing Tekkz whatsoever as a man who has beaten him before. And really, it's all going to come down to whether Tekkz can get into those areas where he does perform at his best, when he can get into the box, where he can start using all those skill moves.
Well, here's NRaseck then. On that left-hand side, Van Dijk comes across. Deals with the danger. Vieira now spreading it out wide to Varane. And now, do you expect to see the same kind of slow build-up that we've seen from F2Tekkz throughout this tournament?
I do. I think he doesn't want to throw this away. It means so much for him to try and go into the E-World Cup as the #1, not to be thinking of, oh, he's just #1 throughout the entire season, but the #1 from the playoffs. And of course, that's 75,000. I think he's going to play it slow, he's going to play it methodical, and he's going to take advantage when he does burst into areas like this.
Yeah, that was a great run there from R9, a surging run inside the box, and the finish is there to match the run. Cristiano Ronaldo steps up for Tekkz, and that's him taking the lead.
So many questions are asked about Tekkz in every single tournament. Is he going to carry on being as good as he is? Is he the greatest FIFA player we've seen of all time? I mean, there's so much discussion and deliberation around that fact, but I think he has the chance to prove it at the E-World Cup. And if he can carry on this form into the E-World Cup, I'm sure he's going to try and prove that point to everyone.
Absolutely no reaction, though, from NRaseck. I think he just wants to get back into the game. When you play against someone like Tekkz, you know, there's a likelihood he will score against you. It's just how you bounce back, how you answer back. And now it's up to the German in his home country to try and find a way back into this game.
I think the scary factor is, though, so many times when people face off against Tekkz, they often find themselves ahead and then Tekkz comes back. But what about when he goes ahead?
Oh, Mbappe had a shot goal there, and almost from the restart we saw NRaseck answering back. Gets a little bit unfortunate there after charging down that attempted long ball. And Tekkz can now breathe a little sigh of relief and move forward himself. And Mbappe kind of becomes synonymous with some of the magic that is in the fingers of F2Tekkz. It usually happens at the feet of either Team of the Year, Kylian Mbappe, or Team of the Season, Kylian Mbappe. Both versions have featured heavily in what has been a fantastic season for the young Englishman. And here is that Frenchman now on the right-hand side. The drag back gets a little bit fortunate to keep possession. Into R9 Ronaldo. Vieira, great little spot. Ronaldo couldn't apply the finishing touch.
It's just so hard to keep up with Tekkz when he starts ping-ponging it around like that and playing those short passes, similar to what we saw in his game versus Kurt when they were both doing that to one another. But one thing Tekkz maybe we'll try and do better in this game is not give away easy goals.
Looks towards the back post. There is a man there. Mendy, oh no! It's a mess inside the 6-yard box. But Tekkz takes advantage. And it's now 2 goals to the good.
And just as we were giving compliments to Van der Sar earlier in the previous semi-final, he makes an absolute blunder there. And NRaseck finds himself 2 goals behind, and it's very difficult to pick yourself up after conceding a goal like that. Very unlucky for him. But you have to go again, and there we are. Do you see any words there you recognise?
Well, I can promise that putting it into the back post and having that happen is not inside that red box. However, if it is going in there now...
Does that say bring on Steven Gerrard? I think it might have done. Tekkz wrote that in himself.
I think it was... Mendy got a little touch on that one. That kind of diverted away from the goalkeeper, to be honest. Very unfortunate circumstances there for NRaseck. The F2Tekkz. It just seems like when his back's put against the wall, it's when he plays his best FIFA down.
But now NRaseck is going to have to show what happens when his back is against the wall. But he's going to really struggle to regain possession if Tekkz is passing it around the pitch so comfortably as he is at the moment. But thankfully, Dumfries does win that back, and now NRaseck can actually start to build on this and try and just hold a little bit more possession, get used to passing this ball around.
Well, Vieira using those long legs to stride into space. Goes out wide to Cristiano Ronaldo. Keeps his body between the defender and the ball. Mbappe, chance here for Neymar, goes inside, and Tekkz reads him like a book.
Yeah, Tekkz was just waiting for the turn there. He positioned himself with Virgil van Dijk to say, I can switch onto this player, and it doesn't matter if you go right or left. I think I've got you, and he did guess correctly. And it's fantastic defensive work once again from Tekkz, but better from NRaseck going forward. If he can keep creating those chances, eventually Tekkz is going to slip up. Eventually NRaseck's going to get one of those shots on goal.
Well, Mendy wins the ball back. He was at fault for one of the goals that has given F2Tekkz this lead, and Neymar cannot hold off the physical presence here of two of Tekkz's players. And just a little point there, I think maybe the Tekkz of old would have gone direct there, but he's instead recycled the ball and found a fantastic ball to Neymar. Did a roulette here, trying to get away from his man. Neymar somehow still has the ball as well. Ronaldo dispossessed by Cristiano Ronaldo in the colours of NRaseck.
It's almost like Tekkz just has fun when he has the ball on the edge with the likes of Mbappe and Neymar, and just dances around and waits for the player almost to fall over in front of him, and then he makes his move. He certainly is one of the best at chaining together skill moves, and it's not just random guesswork with his thumbstick. He knows exactly which skill moves he tries to utilize and put together. It really is great to watch when he does get going.
You can see a little bit of the Tekkz finesse maybe starting to come to the boil here, and that signs danger for NRaseck. Here's Ronaldo. Back to Vieira, Cristiano Ronaldo. Great quick pass in here, it's phenomenal. And he just couldn't get into position to get the strike away. Well defended by NRaseck.
I mean, it's such good vision from Tekkz. And actually, if we compare it to any of the players that we've seen throughout this tournament, I'd probably compare it most to Kurt. And maybe it's Kurt's controller giving him this gift.
Huge chance here for NRaseck! And he buries it! Maybe now is not the time to be having fun for F2Tekkz. NRaseck wants to make a game of this, and now it's a one-goal game again.
Yeah, and NRaseck just found himself in a little bit more space than he's used to. Turned well in a brilliant finish to boot. Tekkz, unfortunately, just couldn't get his defenders in the right position. And very little he can do when Eusebio's through on goal with a chance like that. One of the best, if not the best, finishers in the game, and that's why we see him featured in so many of the lineups at this tournament. And well then, NRaseck right back into this now.
The German will not want to go down easily here in Hamburg. 3-2 on aggregate. Just before half-time, that goal as well. Now he just needs to switch on. Make sure that you don't let F2Tekkz have another strike at goal just before the half-time whistle. The goalkeeper should get there, but he's made an absolute mess of it. Ronaldo's in the middle. And my word, Van Dijk had to win that header, and luckily for NRaseck, he did.
Van der Sar, once again, not looking so good. NRaseck is just going to be thinking, oh my God, thank goodness he's actually able to save that.
I mean, one of the things that I want to talk about is, as we have 45 minutes left in this game, is how good F2Tekkz is at holding on to a lead down. You can see one of the quotes that he said himself. It's something he's been working with.
Despite this quote, when we saw him go up against Kurt, he actually didn't look that good in the final few stages. He gave away 2 sloppy goals in terms of his own defensive work, and he needs to be better going into this game against NRaseck. Otherwise, NRaseck could turn this tie around, and we might see him go on to the final to face off against Stokes. And I think that's something Tekkz knows, and something that Tekkz will, I'm sure, be trying to work on in this tie.
Yeah, we'll certainly be keeping an eye on that, and NRaseck's going to keep the pressure on, keep testing just how far that game management will bend before it breaks. Havertz on the pitch here for NRaseck as well, I think. Team of the season, Kai Havertz, 95 rated. 5-star weak foot, 6'2". He's got it all as far as the FIFA 19 player is concerned. NRaseck defends the restart well here, and now he'll have possession.
And with that possession, I'd like to see him just try and dominate this midfield area. It's usually where he's been struggling to get the ball into that final third. But passes like that, they're very risky. I like it, though, because if he does get that touch and he makes it work, you've got a nice little 1-2 option to potentially get through on goal. And maybe it's one of those passes that NRaseck needs to get back in this game.
And I think NRaseck's playing the 4-2-2 at the moment, because you can see there's 2 men up top, but it means there'll be more space in the middle. And Van der Sar, for all the criticism we've given him so far, has just made an absolute wonder save.
I want to say, but it almost went under him as well. Very shaky does NRaseck's goalkeeper look, but at least he's still only a goal behind. And it was that 4-2-2 which NRaseck played all the way back in Bucharest in that FUT Champions Cup when he beat Tekkz. So maybe he's just going for a formation of old and trying to play a little bit more aggressive here and try and get in the face of Tekkz. Not allow Tekkz just to be passing that ball around comfortably with that slow, methodical build-up. Instead, making him think quick on his feet.
Neymar can't get away from the attentions of Danny da Costa. Great tackle there from the young German fullback. And now Tekkz can come forward. You can see the run outside here of Cristiano Ronaldo. Tekkz elects to use Ronaldo and almost gets away from Van Dijk, but on the counter-attack now with this 4-2-2, you can see those two men up front. Tekkz has got to be so careful, committed players. And NRaseck is moving the ball absolutely beautifully forward here. Tekkz has held him up at the moment. And Neymar just couldn't squeeze that pass through. If that pass gets past that man, there's a real opportunity to strike on goal for NRaseck.
Yeah, and I think NRaseck knows. He knows how close he's getting, and interceptions like that is exactly what he needs. Because if he can manage to win that ball in dangerous areas when some of Tekkz's players are out of position, he should be able to penetrate that defence. He should be able to find that space he's been so desperately searching for.
Well, here's Ronaldo trying to turn away from the attentions again of da Costa, but Tekkz is so good at just reading the body shape of the player and deciding what way he's going to go. And Mendy is going to upend Mbappe. And that'll be a booking for the young Frenchman. And he's got to be careful now, especially in those full-back positions. We know how Tekkz likes to use Neymar, Mbappe, Ronaldo to attack those wide spaces. Now he's got to be extra careful in his step when he makes those tackles.
And Tekkz playing that 4-4-2 as well. I mean, it is quite bizarre that we have seen him change formation in his final tournament of the season, almost before that World Cup, and you saw he had the 4-1-2-1-2 set up as well. We used to see him with the traditional 4-2-3-1 that so many of the pros play at the moment. But now he's changed things up, and it seems to be working. He's undefeated so far this tournament, and we've seen him do that at several tournaments this year. Not only was he winning, but also he was going undefeated, which not many players have been able to do throughout FIFA.
His record speaks for itself, and his ability to reinvent himself across one title is something that you cannot give enough credit to. And now he's inside the box. The first time we've really been able to see him come forward for a little while. Vieira gets in the way for Nicolas NRaseck, and now the German can come forward. He's got to be very wary of that game clock, though, in the top left-hand corner. 66 minutes on the clock as it stands. It might sound like a lot of time, but in FIFA 19, you've got to create your chances quickly. Mbappe tries to squeeze it back to Messi.
And now we really are going to see how comfortable Tekkz is at game management, at keeping that lead for the remainder of this game, at passing the ball around and almost keeping that ball away from Nicolas NRaseck as much as possible, restricting his possession. Because if he does make one mistake, Tekkz, it's only a goal lead, and then suddenly that's NRaseck right back into the game.
That was a great run there from Neymar, and he was well found, but the power and the strength of Raphael Varane means he won't be able to cause too much damage. And NRaseck, Vieira, he's just played that one behind Kai Havertz, and maybe an opportunity here. It couldn't be a little bit of a blessing in disguise, to be honest with you, because Rogues and NRaseck has a chance to maybe make those final changes to potentially find a way back into this game.
Yeah, and you're going to be looking at just pushing everything up. Of course, we're on Tekksz's screen at the moment, and he's actually increasing his width a little bit there, and I am whispering ever so slightly just so that players don't hear what is being changed on Tekksz's screen. But it is just probably chatting to his coach Enzo and saying, look, where do I need to be changing areas? Where am I lacking in defense? Which areas do you think NRaseck is going to be trying to target? And we didn't see NRaseck's screen. We didn't see what he was actually changing, but I would imagine you're just encouraging the majority of players to get up the pitch and just generate more pressure here on Tekkz trying to play this ball around.
Go and make yourself a hero, quite simply. Someone on the pitch needs to do so for NRaseck. Who potentially could that man be? First, he's got to get the ball off of Tekkz, who's shown his game management has been pretty impressive so far. Yes, Kurt did push him all the way. But he's got to put pressure on this ball, which means that Tekkz might be able to put pressure on him, but he brings it away, and Messi, great hold-up play from the little Argentinian maestro to get past his man and invite some more players forward. Here comes NRaseck. Messi, edge of the box here. Lacks touch from R9 though, and that's disappointing in that area.
Great sliding tackle though from Tekkz, and one thing he's very good at doing is taking advantage of players, pushing people up the pitch, leaving gaps at the back.
And here is one of those gaps being exploited now. Neymar, a couple of step-overs, all the way across. Composure, calmness, F2Tekkz.
And that should be the goal that takes him to the final. And no wonder he's trending on Twitter, because he is a boy wonder. He is the special one. But we have to give credit to that coach behind him as well. Even he's celebrating because he knows what it means, getting that 2-goal advantage going into these final stages of this second leg.
And it can't be understated in that kind of situation. Just to think of that extra pass across, just to give yourself the highest percentage chance of guaranteeing yourself a goal there from Tekkz. Great thinking from him. And you can see NRaseck here, so close to that final here in Hamburg. But if it was a tough job before that goal went in, well, it just got a heck of a lot tougher.
It's almost like Tekkz was waiting and waiting for Raseck to push people up, to get a little bit more aggressive, to leave those slots in behind. And as soon as he noticed it, he pounced on that opportunity. He got more aggressive, and now he's been rewarded with a second goal as well. Of course, Raseck still does have time to get back into this. We saw the late goals that were conceded by Tekkz in the quarter-final. 10 minutes left. A goal here from the restart, and then it's, once again, game on.
Well, Messi, he's not going to get a chance to go forward because Ruud Gullit will step in. And like he does, just gets rid of any danger before it becomes threatening. R9 dropping deep here for F2Tekkz. And Varane again looking to release. Neymar on that left-hand side. All right, NRaseck, it's now or never. And it looks, unfortunately for the German, like it might be the latter.
And there's loads of space out there on the left-hand side as well, and Tekkz has an option now. He can either just keep this ball or he can go for glory here, but unfortunately he doesn't even get the choice, because that's good defending from NRaseck to give him the chance once again to attack and get a goal back.
Well, Messi picks the ball up, and Mendy's going to continue his run from fullback. We'll get control of the ball, and Gullit again just stepping in, but Gullit might actually win that back. Tekkz is under pressure here. Havertz now onto the left foot, chance for Raseck, waits, cannot beat the goalkeeper.
Van der Sar with a huge save there, but still danger from the corner. He needs a goal here for any sort of opportunity.
Cricketta from Messi, across the box, and Havertz completely fluffs his lines.
And that should be game, and that'll be Tekkz going through to yet another grand final where he will face up against Rebel Stokes. An incredible tournament from NRaseck, but Tekkz again putting on a show.
And there might be time for one more. Van der Sar will come out. It has been a great run from NRaseck. Both players will be at the FIFA E-World Cup, but it's F2Tekkz who once again will advance to the final.
Yeah, and you saw a big old smile on his face as well after he completed that victory, and a deserved victory too. He was able to keep NRaseck at bay.